Everything which Krishna allows to happen has to be that way. We have to go through that. Because we start getting out of the womb. That's a terrible experience. And at the same time, a very liberating experience, no? Confined in the womb, you know. You want to get out, it's getting too small. And then I have to get out of this very small opening. I mean, could you just think about it, the traumatic experience, both for the child and for the mother, no? For the mother itself, it's the biggest pain which is there. I mean, it's a magic thing, but for the child in there, it's like backed up, you know. There's no opening now. Where's the opening coming? Then, by God's grace, this opening is coming, no? So big that a child can come out, no? Oh. Just imagine this, like a movie, no? Trying to come out, there's no way. When the opening's like this, how can I get out of there? You know, like this. It's terrible. It's so painful. It's painful. You know, sometimes the child doesn't want to come out. They take the head with something, and they pull. No, God. I mean, that's the way you and me were born. Huh? I'm speaking about our story here, not some Martian story. No, each and everyone's. Sometimes in life things happen. We just have to go through them. The child gotta come out. You can't change your mind. Say no, I'll leave it inside. No option. Say, this is too painful, just leave it inside. No way. The whole thing starts, birth. Is it incredible, excruciating, painful, dramatic, and wonderful experience. That's why you can all smile about it. Even though you went through it. Now you can smile about it. And even though it's the greatest pain, then the same woman agrees to go through it again by having another one. And you see, most women don't have only one child. At least they used to have several. So it means there's some love coming along with this, which is much stronger than this little problem of the pain and all this. It's almost a side issue. So here we go. Our life is going through many things we have to go through. One time a friend of mine, actually a disciple in Chile, he built this beautiful house. He was so proud. He bought a place next to a lake with ducks. And he said, I'm going to live on top of the lake. So he decided to make a house on stilts. And he made a mansion. He was from a richer family, so he had money. And he made a mansion. Really a mansion. Beautiful, the lake, the house, unique. So then one day, it was becoming summer and drier and drier and drier and drier. And the lake dried out. And the plants in the lake, they all became like paper. And he still didn't react. He didn't react. This is very... Why didn't he react? He should have cut those dry plants over his house. So, some children came to visit and were playing with his children. And they were playing with some fire thing under the house, just playing. They were not arsonists who were trying to put fire. But the little fire caught a little paper, and like everything was so dry, it went 15 minutes. In 15 minutes, that entire house was burned. Because it was all wood. All wood, very opulent. So his dream of his life is the pride of his life. With all his belongings inside, they didn't have time to go inside. They managed to bring out the deity. They just managed to bring out the deity on the altar. You know who is it now? His dream burnt away in 15 minutes what he worked years for. Put all his pride. But he had to go through it. There was no way to put it back on this. No, get out of the situation. There was no way out. The firefighters just came to say, okay, bring us the ashes. So things like this in life sometimes happen. We have to go through it. And it doesn't matter, you're not safe, an earthquake. We just had a 6.6 earthquake all over Colombia. 6.6, such an earthquake in Germany you never had. Sometimes the seismic movements are in such a way then they're not so like this effect of the plates shocking on each other. That earthquake was like an earthquake like this. The whole country was shaking. 6.6. And some buildings were damaged, but no casualties. And I didn't hear any damage from our temples. But that feels, a whole country shaking. Can you imagine what powers we are talking about? For a whole country shaking? Because South America is an earthquake country, it's the plates crossing all the way from down in Chile all the way to Alaska. They call it the San Andreas fault line. They call it. So on this San Andreas fault line, there's around some of them are closed. St. Helen, you know what happened to St. Helen? St. Helen was, I think, a 5,000 meter old mountain. And it went kaboom! And there was only 2,000 meters left, 3,000 meters of rocks, pulverized. They were all over Seattle, California, over the rest. So, the San Andreas fault line is always ready for some excitement. When Concepcion, South Chile, had earthquake, our temple fell apart. It was a rented house. We all sent donations to Concepcion that time because the earthquake was devastating. Our farm was full of people taking shelter who had lost their houses. Some devotees lost their houses. We're talking about real things, no? Real problems. Not like somebody bumped in your car and now your beautiful car has a bump in it, You've come for a good reason. Why a woman cannot get a husband? Why? And then maybe she gets a husband and he treats her bad. Why? Why is this and why is that? We cannot really get the answer for everything right there. But we see, and we human beings are quite frequently acting very stupid. So most likely, those stupid action has to do something with those karmic reactions. No? So it's not really out of reach to say that something's going wrong. Many things go wrong in this life. And you have done probably things wrong, I do things wrong. To be unfriendly, or you think we have a right to be unfriendly with people? It's a good question, no? Like I hear that sometimes in the temple, some devotees that behave unfriendly with others for no reason. Even here in the temple this happens, you know. Unfriendly. I cannot imagine it because I like you all so much. I may sometimes say to somebody I don't like, have I been unfriendly to you?
Not really, without reason anyway, no.
You never give me a reason.
Well then he wasn't unfriendly.
Well, we worked together 20 years or more. And in things, creative, sometimes different opinions maybe, but no reason for being unfriendly. I won't ask Govinda. Because I'm always on top of him. Have I ever been unfriendly to you?
Constructive. Another word.
No, unfriendly means you speak in such a way that the other person simply feels bad, feels miserable. Of course, if there's a reason, a big reason, that's another story again, because sometimes we may have to clarify things. I'm just making the point, we cannot be unfriendly with each other. It's not authorized to be unfriendly. That's why we have this saying in Vrinda, which says, to take a step back, never. To fight with each other, under no condition. In Spanish it sounds good. Retroceder, nunca. Pelearse, jamás. Sounds like a movie title. Actually, I got it from a movie, but it was different. It was retroceder nunca, rendirse jamás. It was some war movie. Surrender, it was saying, never going to step back and never surrender. But it's not our philosophy, because our philosophy is always to surrender. No? So I couldn't say rendirse jamás. But pelearse, to fight with each other, with the comrades, never. So it's really and sometimes people abuse. Sometimes people do abuse. Sometimes people make it difficult. Like we had this one case in one temple, I won't mention the name, but there was somebody living in the temple, very wonderful person, but he had a son. And the son was also living in the temple, getting the same mercy, eating prasadam, having all the advantage. But his son never paid any attention to what's happening in the temple, didn't cooperate in any way. So that the other devotees were feeling like, it's not right. How can somebody just live here and do nothing? You know, we have had cases here in the temple, people were living here and didn't want to do anything. Well, at a certain point, it's not possible. There must be a rule. We must have the rules of the temple. If you live in this premise, you're having this and this facility. You can go to the art, you can go to the class, you can participate in like this. In return, you have to give so many hours of service, community work. We promise that no negative atmosphere is here, no loud sounds after 10. La 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 la. This is the rules, the house rules. Of course we need them. And they need to be accepted by anybody who comes here. But you see, sometimes there's abuse. So in the case of the person where the son was just living there and doing nothing and didn't care and didn't pay any attention, finally the devotee said, well, then we don't want you here. You have tried it, we have tried it, we waited 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, you're not responding to community life. then you shouldn't be you shouldn't have the benefits of the community life. I think it's a reasonable thing. Devotees have a right to lose their patience with certain sicknesses, but not to treat them. Even in such a situation, we don't fall down to the level of unfriendliness. This is a question of culture. I mean, community life is such an amazing struggle. Because it's a learning experience. We are here to learn. From the day one, our father and mother give us a lesson, and the children give a lesson to the parents. It's amazing. Very amazing how we are learning from each other. When you join the temple, you are joining the temple to learn, and the temple also learns from your presence. Maybe positive, maybe negative, we don't know yet. It remains to be seen. But we are here to learn from each other. This is just the nature of living together. Husband learns from the wife learns from the husband. Husband protects the wife protects the husband. Parents protect the children, and children, they teach the parents so many things, knowingly or unknowingly. Because what does a little child do? Tell me. Well, a little child has to cry if there's no food. That's the only thing the child can do. Shut up. No, shut up. Give me food. Huh? Give me food, give me affection. So, practically, the child is teaching the parents that you have a child, that means look after your child. Some parents, I think some mothers can confirm that, they hardly sleep at night because the child gets up in the night and is afraid nobody's there. And they have to take in the arm, the child, give it a little milk, and then okay, everything's okay, so go to sleep. 1 hour later, again. Well, you could just say, well, just lock the child in another room, they're soundproof. But no, mothers don't lock their little babies in soundproof rooms. Mothers sleep with their little babies and they look, baby is crying. Some babies cry more than others, right? So the whole life, the whole experience of this material existence, is full of excitement and challenges, full of blood, sweat, and tears, and beauty, sweetness, and love. Yeah, blood, sweat, and tears, beauty, sweetness, and love. Oh my God. If you want to get this, you also have to accept that. My God, what is the difficult choice we have made to come to this world, no? We thought it was just going to be blueberry cake with cream cheese. Something like that. No. There's a lot of sauerkraut also, And there's other things worse than sauerkraut. There's a real chili sauce. You almost think you die when you eat it. You learn about chili when you go to India. Not in Vrindakuja. You have a special license in Vrindakuja to make food you can also eat for the Westerners, because when you're not used to the chili, you know, you go to a Gaudiya Matfar festival, you can have two choices: just eat rice or fast. Because everything is so strange what they eat. I mean, shukta. By now, finally, I learned to love shukta. Shukta is a bitter vegetable. You never make shukta in Germany. You don't know what this is. What is a bitter vegetable? It's really bitter. Neem leaves, with neem leaves and with chlorella and with a few other things, they're so bitter. In the beginning, I couldn't eat it. Now, at the end, after so many years, I start liking shukta. I can actually eat a whole full plate full of shukta and not eat the chili. Because when they come with the chili is so heavy, you don't know is this a cauliflower or in this or a pea or a potato. It just burns. They like it. I still can't really. I'm a little bit more accustomed than before, but no. This is terrible. But this is the thing, that life is like this. It has all these, like this rays, all these spectrums of, goes from very dark to very light. So dark that you can't see nothing, to so light that you can't see nothing. Interesting, no? Too much light blinds your eye. Too much darkness, eye is useless. So you're in that duality. There's sounds which are absolutely intolerable. And then the sounds, they become fine and sweet and etherical, and finally you cannot hardly distinguish it anymore. It evaporates. And then the other sounds, they become so noisy you faint. That's a huge spectrum of sound. It all exists, it's all within the realm of our experience. So the senses are very powerful things, you know. By the power of the senses we can see and hear and taste, smell and touch, like touching. Touch somebody's skin. This is such a very soothing experience when you touch somebody's skin. You feel there's somebody there. And if that somebody responds to your touch, then you feel even more excited. But this is just physical touch, just a little skin sensation. That's all it is. But the touch can also be cutting, beating, disaster. So touch, we're very careful about, you know. Just like we love the rain. The other day in Vrindavan, they hadn't still removed those remnants of the Second World War. Well, there was not one single sheet left after this hailstorm. It was like a bombing, destroying huge roofs. Like, what to say, how big of a roof was destroyed. Really huge. Thousands of dollars of tiles were destroyed, and we have to substitute them now because we can't leave it open, then the rain will destroy. "15 minutes hail." Nobody expected it. Hadn't been seen before in Vrindavan. And so, can you imagine you get one of those on your head? I don't know how many monkeys died from this hail. I don't know. It's terrible because they don't have a house to go inside. And there's monkeys everywhere in Vrindavan, so altogether, it's not easy. Life is just not easy. Don't expect it ever to be easy. But go through with it with the best way you can. Go through with it. Give your love, give your heart. Because that's the only thing which will bring us to Krishna. Not bring us to death. To death we will die anyway, it doesn't matter. Of course Krishna says, Sarva Mityu Sharasharam, I'm that personified. So at least we have a rendezvous waiting with Krishna coming soon. Rendezvous with Krishna coming soon. Called death. Okay. Like Vidya Chaitanya, go back to home, back to God. Like Radha Tulasi, go home, back to home, back to God. Some of our devotees have already gone home, back to God. Little Madhusudan, he was only 6-7 years old. And it was a day of him to get initiated. And Krishna took him with him. Nobody expected. The entire Colombian Vaishnava Yatra was in a state of shock and tears, like you had removed the apple of your eye from your vision. Rasa Manjari made the movie of him. She filmed him, little Madhusudan, if you see him, you can't believe. He's not alive now. Krishna took him. How did he take him? They were coming out of school and a lot of kids were running and there was a street corner and the kids in the back, they pushed and pushed to go through and he was just on the edge and they pushed him on the street while a bus just were turning on the street. So the little boy was squashed right there. In a way you could say lucky. Gone at once. He didn't think about it. He didn't have time to think about it. It was just gone. But we could feel so much. This is over 20 years ago, but to me it's totally alive, like it happened yesterday, Because this is life. We are here to learn from the difficulty, from the suffering. But I don't think for Madhusudan Prabhu this was a bad. I think Madhusudan Prabhu, he went back home, back to God, and he had the swift delivery. Whereas we have the hard one, the difficult, the long path. Such a long path. Going through so many trials and tests. For the sake of Krishna, we have to endure. And what is the Mahabharata? What is the Bhagavatam? Bhagavatam is giving us that very same lesson. Bhishmadeva lying on the bed of arrows. Ashwatthama killing the sons of Draupadi. 5 sleeping sons. Could anything be more heinous than a guy killing 5 sleeping sons? I mean, even today in our Kali Yuga, hardly ever we hear of somebody going there and killing sleeping sons of somebody. Such thing may take place also when the war is happening and all this stupid killing is going on. Yeah, of course, you're right. In Africa, people persecuted. Yeah, you're right. So this is the material existence. Whew! And when the people you love are going into the danger region, it's very tough, no? For mothers and fathers, when their children are in the danger region, will they come back unscathed? Or will they be hurt? Traivargika yasa vigatam masmat patirvidate purushasya shakrya tato numeyo bhagavat prasado yodurlabho kinchana pocharoniyai. O Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead forbids His devotees to endeavor uselessly for religion, economic development, and sense gratification. O Indra, one can thus infer how kind the Lord is. Such mercy is obtainable only by unalloyed devotion. Such mercy is obtainable only by unalloyed devotees, not by persons who aspire for material gains. Our Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, forbids His devotees to endeavor uselessly for religion, economic development, and sense gratification. Go with the stuff, no? O Indra, one can thus infer how kind the Lord is. Such mercy is obtainable only by unalloyed devotees, not by persons who aspire for material gains. So if you aspire for gains, make sure they are spiritual gains, otherwise you have some problem. Now Prabhupada explains, there are four objectives in human life, namely religiosity, dharma, economic development, artha, sense gratification, kama, and liberation, moksha, from the bondage of material existence. People generally aspire for religiosity, economic development, and sense gratification, but the devotee has no other desire than to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead both in this life and in the next. The special mercy for the unalloyed devotee is that the Lord saves him from hard labor to achieve the results of religion, economic development, and sense gratification. Of course, if one wants such benefits, the Lord certainly awards them. Indra, for example, also a devotee, was not much interested in release from material bondage. Instead, he desired sense gratification and a high standard of material happiness in the heavenly planets. Vritrasura, however, being an unalloyed devotee, aspired only to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the Lord arranged for him to go back to Godhead after his bodily bondage was destroyed by Indra. Vritrasura requested Indra to release his thunderbolt against him as soon as possible, so that both he and Indra would benefit according to their proportion of advancement in devotional service. O my Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, will I again be able to be a servant of your eternal servants who find shelter only at your lotus feet? O Lord of my life, may I again become their servant so that my mind may always think of your transcendental attributes, my words always glorifies those attributes, my body always engages in the loving service of your Lordship. O my Lord, source of all opportunities, I do not desire to enjoy in Dhruva Loka, the heavenly planets, or the planet where Lord Brahma resides, nor do I want to be the supreme ruler of all the earthly planets or the lower planetary systems. I do not desire to be master of the powers of mystic yoga, nor do I want liberation if I have to give up the lotus feet. Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. That's something far out, huh? O lotus-eyed Lord, as baby birds that have not yet developed their wings always look for their mother to return and feed them, as small calves tied with ropes await anxiously the time of milking, when they will be allowed to drink milk of their mothers, or as a morose wife whose husband is away from home always longs for him to return and satisfy her in all respects. I always yearn for the opportunity to render direct service unto you. O my Lord, my Master, I'm wandering throughout the material world as a result of my fruitive activities. Therefore, I simply seek friendship in the association of your pious and enlightened devotees. My attachment to my body, wife, children, home is continuing by the spell of your external energy, but I wish to be attached to them no longer. Let my mind, my consciousness, and everything I have be attached only to you. Thus ends Bhaktivedanta, purport 6th canto, about the glories of Ritrasu. Beautiful prayers, huh? The Bhagavatam is just something else, you know. Wow. It's always like it puts you in the energy of love and love and love again. So time is running very short for me because it's today and tomorrow that I'm still here.
And Friday.
3 days. Yeah. Good. So I request that we do a little bit. I want Govinda and Ambarish to talk with Derek now, to have that. Then we want to talk with Vrindavan Chandra, a meeting this afternoon.
3 o'clock.
And I'm suggesting that we may go out to Shama's place, because I haven't been there, it's not far. Shama. We can call if it's convenient, yeah? We can sit a little bit there and have peace of mind and talk over the future of the Berlin construction and everything here. After this meeting now, I want to have a conversation with Goloka, with Krishna Vilas leaving tomorrow. Tomorrow morning. Yes. And are we going anywhere else today? We go over the World Peace Therapy, step by step. You both, and then you give me the suggestions. You three, sorry. Get accustomed. We got a new shining, bright light in the Bulgarian Yatra. You know, it's not, nobody can understand how, by the will of Providence, we met each other, all of us here. And I always invest everything in everyone. Sometimes people say, why you put so much pressure on people? It's not my intention to put pressure on people. It is my intention to invest the most in people for their growth and happiness in life. I invested a lot in Mayapur in the past. Now he has to invest in me because I'm now old. Anyway, he was temple president. He has gone through many things. So, Chitraketu. I mean, if you know Chitraketu in Ecuador, he's here now. He's becoming a responsible young man. So many things that nobody can imagine that Chitraketu is here and how much things we have to do. I brought Kadambini here when she was a 13-year-old girl. Well, not here. She joined our temple. Now she has gone to become an entrepreneur in Germany. You can imagine that. So we meet by the sweet will of Providence. Radhadasya, our talented artist, Bhagavat Acharya, Switzerland, manager of enterprise, and he kidnaps one of my girls from Peru. Who can understand this world? No. But without that, we would never have met. Who can understand, really? Sometimes we come, sometimes we go. We have so many intentions, so many wishes. Sometimes our wishes remain wishful thinking. You know, wishful thinking, that means, I have a dream, and I never go about it in any way. It just remains a dream. But when I talk to people, I don't try to get them involved in dreams. I try to get the devotees involved in revolution, in things which are difficult to accomplish. And I think the other way around, Krishna is trying to engage me in things which are difficult to accomplish. As a matter of fact, all the things I do, without the devotees, I would be utterly useless. Really, I would be useless. I couldn't do anything. And I know that. Without Amarish, I can do hardly anything. And without the young devotees making beautiful things, I wouldn't even be a good father. I was just talking with one girl this morning about what is the position of a sannyasi or spiritual master to protect the girls so that they get a good husband. And I was telling them that in our program, I have a program called Conscious Marriage. You should know about it. If not, it's because you are living on another planet dreaming. This is going on for a long time. And the person who's managing conscious marriages, she's saying to me, so many women, they're inquiring about conscious marriage. So many women, but not so many men. It's not easy to find a man who wants to get married today and wants to take the responsibility and to protect properly a woman, adequately making her happy and giving her the shelter so she can develop her growth. It's not easy. It's a difficulty. Now, what am I going to say about it? Help. Help. Let's find. Of course, Krishna is the supreme controller. Definitely I'm not. Nor do I want to. But I started the web service, Conscious Marriage. I started that because many of my daughters, they came to me and they said, please help us to find a husband. I said, you preach, and then people will meet you. And when they meet you, then they will like you and they want to help you. I tell women something like this. If you're a preacher and you're a leader, and a man comes and sees what you're doing, and then he starts giving you 300 euros every month, only to help your program, because he sees your preach, he likes it, he's inspired, and he does it for 2 years, then you can think, maybe the guy is very seriously interested in me. Maybe he really loves me. Maybe he's ready to sacrifice his. I mean, for a man to give 300 euros in a month, it's not easy, no? That means he really must think about it. But then you know he really is behind you. Okay, maybe you only give 200 because he doesn't have so much money. But is he giving? Because if you get married and have children, life is going to be more expensive than 300 euros a month. So if he's not ready to give any money for helping you, what you're doing for Krishna, not for your private thing, if he's not sympathizing with that, then he will not give you anything either when you're really in need later. What is a woman with child? She's in need of support and help. 100%. And if the man is not ready for that, then the disaster is on the wall. So therefore, I'm not really asking strange things. I'm just asking for people to become very serious about marriage, if they get married. And we do have the scarcity. There's too many women that want to get married, and there's no corresponding amount of males also interested to really do it. So if that's the situation, then so what? Then the women have to become more strong, and they have to become more leaders, because if there's no man who's looking after them, then let the women look after the women, so that the women are not alone. You want to be alone? Like many people that die in a flat, they got maybe some security here in Germany, they got some security, and then they work living in an apartment alone. For me, thanks. I prefer to be in the temple with all the devotees fighting. I'm sorry, not fighting. They're not supposed to fight. But be alone? No way. Also want to talk to Rasamoi around 11:30. Few. Manage. So like this, we're having different things now. I'm very happy, because for me, man and woman is really, I don't see a difference. I see them both wonderful souls of Krishna. That's all. We are all in the Gopi department. There's no other medals. There's no other medals, really. So, but if there's no happy life as a happy mother and wife, then let them be happy as preachers, happy as leaders, happy as energy balls for consciousness expansion, right? They should enjoy every second of their life in Krishna consciousness, not waiting, I'm so sad until somebody comes and marries me. Come on. There's some women, they don't have that. Are they supposed to be less happy? No, please. They should be very happy and very sharing and loving. And I read that verse in Atharva Veda, which says there's no better shelter for a woman than living under the care of a spiritually advanced woman. Mama mia. With the top part of my mother. If we are foolish ourselves, thank you for being yourself.
Then you treated me unfriendly. I actually didn't fight it.
That's how you say it?
Oui.
Short and clear, no? Faux pas.
No, faux pas is a falscher Schritt.
About enemies, and gives the example of the river that somebody pulls
The Vaishnava vision is there is no enemies. The Prahlad Maharaj, he says there's no friends. No! Nobody has time for another me interests. Then I think, oh, it's not nice, we should get rid of that. But it's only that, it's only me-centered thing. As soon as you leave my me, but now you're also my me, meaning the love vision, then again there's no enemies. Administrative charge, right? Happens all the time. Then this side now has to educate this side that it fits in here. That's what's called denazification, they call that, after the second. And then we had the destasification. I think that was never really pulled through, the destasification. They thought the mark will destasify the people. Obviously it didn't work either, no? So anyway, so it's like give you an idea of how to see this group and that group, this attitude, that attitude. So you ask how to deal with these people. Answer is with love and spiritual education to uplift them, to get Tama, ignorance, away from them as much as possible. Is that a good answer? Thank you. I couldn't think of anything else then. Yes.
A question from yesterday.
Yes.
For Grihasthas who have not so much time to read, what is the most important to read after Bhagavad Gita? And is it true we have to read something 3 times before we read something else?
Well, if you read something 3 times, it just means you're really reading it. So it's always good to read something 3 times. And if but you don't have to do it, it's not an obligation. If you, instead of get curious if you want to read this other book, it's also good, yeah. You see, there's no special books for Grihasthas and special books for sannyasis or brahmacharis. We read all the same books. So, on your individual steps, just keep reading the books of Srila Prabhupada and Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and you will be touched and happy by reading those. But there's others, like the book of Srila Puri Maharaj. We also have some writings which I made, so like that, you know. Spanish, there's a lot of stuff. German is less. Gorari from Switzerland, he also published a few books. Put me on the phone with Gorari today, this morning still.
It's better to read their book if we don't have much time than to read the Srimad Bhagavatam, which
you know,
needs more
you can
time.
also mix up the reading. You can get a little taste here and there, but the books, read them systematically through. Nevertheless. But the Bhagavatam is so big, so you may have some interruption. There's other books, Net of Devotion, the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. There's other books that are quite interesting. And then there's other books like Unknown India. Bhakti indische Odyssee. Hast du bestimmt schon gelesen, ne?